We have just over 2 months remaining in the season, and there are still 7 races left to be contested, promising a flurry of action. Following Ferrari's surprising victory in Singapore, there has been extensive speculation about whether Red Bull will regain its competitive edge at Suzuka. The unequivocal answer is yes. Today, we'll delve into the reasons behind Red Bull's potential resurgence, Ferrari's aspirations for the upcoming race, Mercedes' chances, and the driver lineups for both Alfa Tauri and Aston Martin. So, stay tuned for all the insights. Red Bull's remarkable winning streak in F1 was finally halted at the Singapore Grand Prix, with Max Verstappen finishing a modest 5th. A more favorable safety car timing might have positioned Verstappen to challenge for a podium finish, but fate had other plans. Furthermore, had race stewards taken a stricter stance on his qualifying impeding, Verstappen might have found himself starting much further down the grid. In Singapore, the FIA introduced a new technical directive aimed at curbing the proliferation of flexible aerodynamic bodywork across the paddock. Red Bull's sudden struggles led many to speculate that this directive was responsible for the RB19's unexpected lack of competitiveness this season. Team principal Christian Horner vehemently denied any impact on Red Bull's performance, attributing their struggles to purely technical factors. "There's no magic solution in this business," he emphasized. "While it might be tempting to point fingers at the technical directive, it hasn't altered a single component on our car." Verstappen echoed this sentiment, expressing confidence that Red Bull would reclaim its place at the front of the pack at Suzuka. Verstappen asserted, "I believe we'll be strong at Suzuka. Their concerns are not my concern." But is this assurance based in reality, or did the technical directive truly have an impact? Now, let's delve into the fascinating realm of flexible wings, or bodywork, within the context of Formula One. For those unfamiliar, flexi wings pertain to components of the car that undergo deformation under aerodynamic forces. Achieving 100% rigidity in racing car construction is an unattainable goal, which leads to certain areas being intentionally designed for controlled deformation to gain an aerodynamic advantage. One of the most visible manifestations of this phenomenon occurs on the front wing, primarily due to the positioning of television cameras just behind it on the nose of the cars. As Formula One cars accelerate, the aerodynamic load on the vehicle intensifies. In response, the front wing flexes backward, reducing the frontal area exposed to the load. Consequently, this diminishes the drag generated, providing an advantage in terms of straight-line speed. To assess whether Red Bull was affected by this phenomenon, we can scrutinize end-of-straight speed data. This data is readily accessible on various websites for those eager to delve deeper into the intricacies of Formula One. A compelling comparison can be drawn by examining data from the Hungarian Grand Prix weekend, specifically focusing on the variance in end-of-straight speed between laps with and without doctors engaged during FP2. In the accompanying graph, speed is measured in kilometers per hour over the course of a lap. The white line represents a lap with doctors, while the orange line signifies a lap without doctors. Notably, there is a discernible difference in end-of-straight speed, amounting to approximately 24 km per hour. Now, let's shift our attention to the data from Singapore, following the implementation of the technical directive. In this context, the divergence in top speeds has reduced to 20 km per hour. While it's essential to consider factors such as fuel loads and engine settings, there is a conspicuous 17% reduction in the advantage gained through doctors, strongly indicating that the technical directive did indeed have an impact. However, it's crucial to emphasize that this directive cannot be solely blamed for Red Bull's performance. The struggles of the Red Bull team on the track were evident from the televised coverage. The instability of the Red Bull car in corners, where the flexing of wing components has minimal effect on performance, was conspicuous. Several factors converged at the Marina Bay circuit to exacerbate the challenges faced by the RB19. Firstly, the track surface, typical of street circuits, mirrors the wear and tear seen on city streets. Constant vehicular traffic leads to surface damage and subsequent repairs, rendering the track less smooth compared to dedicated racing circuits. Red Bull's performance was undoubtedly impacted by these unique characteristics of the Marina Bay circuit. Verstappen himself acknowledged that his car experienced bottoming out issues, leading to a loss of grip in the front tires. This resulted in compromised braking performance and understeer during turns. Interestingly, he also grappled with exit oversteer, creating a challenging setup scenario for the driver. If you're eager to delve deeper into why Singapore posed a particular challenge for Red Bull compared to other teams, check out our recent video from earlier this week, where I delve into their chassis design. Singapore's circuit features an abundance of tight corners that transition into long straights. To capitalize on these straightaways, a car needs robust traction to accelerate rapidly and brake late. Unfortunately, with a car that exhibited instability during braking and tended to slide through corners, Red Bull found it challenging to achieve these objectives. However, the upcoming track on the calendar, Suzuka, is a classic circuit with a smooth surface and a greater number of high-speed corners. McLaren CEO, Zak Brown, emphasized that Singapore's challenges were somewhat of an anomaly. Nevertheless, Charles Leclerc remains optimistic about his team's prospects, expressing excitement at the possibility of replicating their performance in Suzuka. "I really hope it's possible to reproduce that in Suzuka," he shared with the media after the Singapore race. "I'm really looking forward to seeing it because if we do that, then it's a really good sign for the future." With Carlos Sainz, his teammate, securing back-to-back podiums and the team's first win of the season, Charles is eager to join the success story. However, the resurgence of Red Bull poses a formidable challenge. Mercedes, too, remains a contender to watch. In Singapore, Mercedes capitalized on a late safety car period to pit both their cars for fresh tires. This strategic move, coupled with Carlos Sainz's decision to keep Lando Norris within doctor's range, prevented George Russell from overtaking the McLaren and challenging the DRS-less Ferrari for the race win. Turning our attention to the Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka this weekend, Mercedes team principal Wolff stated in the Mercedes race preview, "Japan is always a unique event with very passionate fans. The track is incredibly challenging, and the drivers love racing on it." Despite the narrow margins in Singapore, Mercedes aims for another competitive showing in Suzuka. Wolff acknowledged losing ground to Ferrari in the Constructors' Championship at the last race but emphasized forward-looking focus on maximizing their package and securing as many points as possible. He concluded, "If we do so, I'm confident we can extend our advantage." The battle between Ferrari and Mercedes in the Constructors' Championship is intensifying as the season nears its conclusion, with just 24 points separating the two teams, currently placed third and second, respectively. Every position matters. Finally, a quick update on the driver situation for Alfa Tauri and Aston Martin. Following his impressive ninth-place finish in Singapore, Liam Lawson will continue to stand in for the injured Daniel Ricciardo at Suzuka this weekend. Ricciardo will be travelling to Australia for a period of physiotherapy and rehabilitation, opting out of any pit wall appearances, as he did last weekend. Meanwhile, at Aston Martin, the team has confirmed that Lance Stroll will indeed participate in the Japanese race, dispelling rumours circulating on social media that he might withdraw after his crash last weekend. As we look ahead to Suzuka, do you believe Ferrari or Mercedes have a shot at challenging Red Bull? Or was the Singapore race just an unusual occurrence, as mentioned by Zak Brown? I'm eager to hear your thoughts and perspectives. Please share them in the comments section below. Also, remember to subscribe to the channel for notifications on our future uploads, ensuring you stay informed about the developments in the 2023 Formula One season.